Hello students and welcome again. In this lecture we are going to first discuss the etcshadow file. This is a file that gets created automatically. When there's a password file on a Linux machine, there's going to be a shadow file as well. So this is a file that you don't directly interact with, but I just wanted to introduce it to you so you will know what each of the entries mean in there. So in order to take a look at it, we have to be sudo again, sudo cat etcshadow. Here we go. So the user that we have just created in the last lecture is C. Adams, and so we're going to discuss his information. So the etcshadow file stores actual password in encrypted format. You can say it's more like the hash of the password for user's account with additional properties related to user password. So basically it stores secure user account information. All fields are separated by colon. It contains one entry per line for each user listed in etc password file. So generally shadow file entry looks as the file that you're looking at, and we're gonna go one by one on each of the entries. So the first entry, just like our password file, is the user. Okay, so the first entry is the username or your login name. The second one is a very long one, as you can see, because it's in encrypted form. So this is your password all the way from here to here. The password should be like minimum 8 to 12 characters long when we are creating it, including special characters and digits and lowercase, alphanumeric and all that. So usually password format is set to $, and then ID, and then $salt, and then $hashed. The ID is the algorithm used on GNU Linux. Okay, the third field here is the when was the last time the password was changed. So the date is calculated from January 1970 that the password was last changed. So you can figure that out, days wise, how long it's been since the password has changed from that date. And number 4 is the minimum number of days required between password changes. Since I haven't set up any aging yet, so that's why it's showing 0. The number of days that are left before the user is required to change the password. Maximum is again, I haven't set anything here, so it's showing the maximum. That's the maximum number of days the password is valid. After that, user is forced to change his or her password. And then there's a warning. The number of days before password is to expire, which is by default is 7. Inactive, the number of days after password expires that account is disabled. So when you're setting password aging, you can set that here as well. Expired days since January 1st, 1970, that account is disabled. That is an absolute date, specifying when the login may never be, it won't no longer be used. Okay, since now we are on the subject, let's see how we change the password. It's very simple. So sudo password and then the name of the user. I want to change it for C. Adams. Okay, and the new password. Okay, so just keep in mind some of the beginning entries in this. Of course, it's very hard to remember all of it. And let's see if the entries have changed in etc password or etcshadow. And as you can see, this has changed quite a bit actually. So since you changed the password, this encrypted password has changed as well. Okay, the next command we're going to introduce is the user del, and this is to delete the user. So the last user we created is C. Adams. Let me go to the top of the terminal here and do a clear. So the command to use is, this time I'm going to do it by becoming super user. Okay, super user now. and user del, and C Adams is the user, and he's gone. So although he's gone, but if you look at home C Adams, this directory is still there, his home directory. So in order to do that, to remove his home directory as well, and of course you do that, suppose if this is a user or employee who has left the company that you're working for, then you want to make sure as a super user that you move all his files to a repository, to somewhere, because it might have important scripts in it or some other information that you don't want to accidentally delete. So in order to delete the home directory as well, once you have cleaned it up, is user del and use the R option and then the name of the user, C Adams. C Adams doesn't exist anymore. But the directory is gone as well. You cannot CD to it like I did before. Okay, and I could have avoided this one step and would have run -R from the beginning, but I wanted to show you both ways how it's user del is used.